Hello and welcome to session 1 of the CV writing and cover letter tutorial. My name is Maria Glover. This tutorial is divided into 3 short sessions, so if you would like to grasp a good knowledge of the subject matter, you must listen to all the sessions. At the end of the tutorial, you should be able to write a winning CV to attract any recruiter. In this session, I will be defining what a CV is, and I'll be listing out very important information that must be included in your CV. This will enable you to write one that is specific to you. Before I go on to define what a curriculum vitae is or a CV, it is important for you to note that there are no universally acceptable standards for writing your CV, but it must be a summary of all your relevant experiences, educational qualifications, skills, your unique accomplishments, and interest. Now, you must note that it usually takes about 30 seconds for a recruiter to decide if you're suitable for the position or not. So your CV must be engaging. It must convey the most relevant points, usually on the first page. And finally, it must be clear. Now let's take a look at the contents of a CV. In the last slide, I mentioned that there are no universally acceptable formats for writing a CV, but these information are important, or every CV must contain the following information. Personal information. This includes your full name, that is, your surname, your middle name and your first name, and every other names you have. Your address. This must be a valid address. Contact numbers and email address. Educational qualifications. This should be in chronological order from the most recent qualification you have, and this should be at the top, to the oldest one, which should be at the bottom. Another content of a CV is the work experience you've been able to gather over a period of time. And this also should be in chronological order from your most recent work experience or your current experience, which should be at the top, to the oldest one, which should be at the bottom. Your work experience should also contain your role and job functions and the name of the organization where you obtain the experience. And also you should include the period when you gain the experience. While drafting your CV, it is also very important for you to list out all the skills required for the position as advertised. These are called relevant experience. You may consider including past leadership responsibilities occupied while you were at university or in secondary school. For example, if you were an ESCO member of a club or association, or you were a student union president, you might want to include that in your CV. This will demonstrate to your recruiter that you have leadership skills. Also, list out all the positions held as a volunteer for your school, club, association, religious organization, or within your community. You can also include your experience from NYSC or your internships. If you also have part-time experience, you want to put that also into your CV. And task at home and task you run on behalf of your family, especially for those who have little experience, little formal experience. While at university or in secondary school, some people successfully ran small businesses. You can also include that in your CV. And if you run business on behalf of your family, please put that in. This experience will demonstrate to your recruiter that you have the right skills for the job. You have to bear in mind that your CV might be the only opportunity for you to sell yourself to your recruiter. So you want to put your best foot forward. You want to include additional skills that will sell you. So additional skills are usually transferable skills. We'll be discussing that when we go forward. But let's look at skills like negotiation skills, networking skills, presentation skills, ICT skills, language proficiency. While you're putting in your CV, you want to consider the skills that are required for the job. For example, if you're putting in for a sales and marketing job, you want to include skills like selling skills or marketing skills. This will demonstrate to your recruiter that you have what it takes to do the job and to do it successfully. Now, interests and activities is another part of the CV. It's a summary of your hobbies, and some people do not think it's important to include their hobbies into their CVs, but sometimes recruiters want to know what your hobbies are. It helps them to decide if you can fit into the organizational culture. You might want to include hobbies like reading, playing and watching football, playing musical instruments, traveling, writing, researching, and the list goes on. Now, your interests are specific to you, so you might want to include what is important to you. I may also suggest that you could do a small research about the organization you want to join and see what kind of activities that they carry out. For instance, if the organizational CSR project is on charities, supporting charities, and you have an interest in supporting charities, you might also want to put that in your CV so your interest aligns with their CSR vision. Most people include referees in their CVs, but it's not very important. If you must, include 2 referees who are not closely related to you by blood, such as your father, your mother, your brother, your sister, your uncles, your aunts, and close relatives. Most recruiters are not very comfortable to have them provide work reference for you. You can have people like your lecturers or your past employer or religious leaders, people in the society with high standings. Now, if you have very long CVs, for example 2-3 pages, you might not want to further lengthen it by including referees, so you can state in your CV referees to be provided upon request. We've come to an end of session 1. Please join us in session 2 for more about CV writing. And if you have any questions at all, please send us an email to KECCareersAdvice@knowledgeexchangecenter.org, or if you want live response, please go to our Facebook page and type in your questions, #KECCareersAdvice. Thank you.